Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Rush Racing League. We got a special one for you here tonight. It is the first reserve program of the season, and to kick things off, we got something even specialer ahead. I don't think specialer is a word, but a doubleheader is, and we have a doubleheader for you here tonight. One shot quali at Monza, 19 laps, and then we go to Bahrain for a little bit of the same. So it should be a fun night here ahead. My name is Patrick Ullman, aka Ruckus, and alongside me tonight is the man who is a team principal and now a member of the Winners Club, my fellow American, H Town. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. And good middle of the night. You said good morning, good afternoon. It's actually good middle of the night for us. So, really excited to be here. And it's also special because you have two Americans in the comms box today. So, even double special.
Two Americans commentating for an Australian league. What more could you ask for? Well, we're going to
Yeah.
go ahead and just jump straight into the thick of things. It is one shot quali here, and this is going to be absolutely insane. All the cars are going to be ghosted, and everybody's going to be pretty much be starting at the same time. So we're just going to go ahead. We'll stay on board. Actually, we'll stay on board with Zombie here in the Alpine as we watch the order just absolutely go crazy here. 15 drivers tonight in the reserve program, a mix of reserves and full-time drivers looking to show their stuff here
I'm getting a
as
headache looking at the order right now. Oh my God.
it's going to be pretty fast and furious, so that's why we're sticking with one driver through the duration of it as now Zombie makes their way through the Lesmos here and getting ready. Now you can carry way too much speed in some of these corners and absolutely just go way off into the gravel. We've seen it actually a few times over the OCE week,
Oh my
so
goodness.
we
We
will
saw we
see.
saw we saw three Ferraris or four Ferraris crash at this very corner right here this weekend. I don't know what the hell was up with the Ascari and Ferrari this weekend, but they just did not get along, which I've never seen before.
Indeed, we have actually quite a few drivers retiring from the session, must be getting invalidated laps. So that is actually four drivers invalidating their lap. Coming across the line now, even more. Wow, a lot of drivers. I think only
What just happened?
seven. I think only seven drivers were able to actually
Oh
set a
my
lap
God.
time here. And Zombie, hey, we picked the right car to watch because Zombie is on pole position.
What
So
was
we're
his
going to
time?
take the time is a 1:18.302, about half a
That's
second
pretty
ahead
good.
of Soots, the governor, keeper, Crustacean, that's a fun name, Shining Swarm, and Paul and Hell, the only drivers to set a lap time. And then it is J1, Com United, uh, 7 a.m., Naya, Quicksilver Deck, Anus Raiden, Jazzy, and Wintercat rounding out the field here tonight. So we
7
got
a.m. That's a good name.
we got 19 laps out of us here at Monza. And now, as a race winner of this very track yourself, what is kind of the methodology? What is kind of the strategy, if you will, for tackling Monza?
The most important thing about Monza is nailing your exits. That's where you're gonna create the most separation or gain the most time on your fellow opponent. So, because when you're driving down the straight, you're basically going at the same speed as equal performance is on. So you're really gonna gain the most time in the entry, but mostly in the exits of the corner. You really want to get on that power faster than your opponent.
Especially with this being the highest speed track of any track on the calendar, barring maybe Las Vegas, depending on how you look at it.
Oh yeah,
It's
and
getting a good exit to get good exit speed is such a crucial element of
oh yeah.
this race. And
It's so easy to slide your back tires and overheat them and then it just creates tire problems. But fun fact, I know you like to do fun facts about this track. I don't know if this is a fun fact, but I went to the 2024 Monza race where Charles Leclerc pulled the win out of his ASS and beat the both McLarens, which was amazing to see live. Well, here we go. I think we have five lights, Rackets. And it's 5 lights and away we go. That was my Rekis impression. Go ahead, Rekis. You can take it over now.
A beautiful impression indeed as we're getting ready for the not so beautiful turn one here at Monza. It has caused heartbreak and zombies already going deep. But quite a few drivers
Nope,
actually
there you
missing
go.
the apex and just take it to the runoff there. And it's going to be Sus and Zombie going ahead and duking it out. Some excellent racing we're seeing here. There is a caution towards the back of the field. Looks like everything is okay though. I think somebody must have just went wide. Jumping back to the front now. It is going to be Zombie trying to hold on. And he's trying to create a little bit of that separation in the Alpine. And he's trying to make hay while the sun, well, the sun isn't exactly shining here in Monza, but you get the idea. Trying to make the most of the situation, and he is trying to break DRS. Staying within DRS is such a crucial part of this track as well, because if you lose DRS here, then it is so tough to regain it, especially with it being such a high-speed track.
Oh,
Taking
for
a look
sure.
at tires real quick, a majority of the drivers here are on that medium compound, with a few drivers running the white-walled hard tires, so one-stops are going to be the name of the game, as they typically are for these 35% races. So, but we are seeing quite a few position changes as Quicksilver Deck's already in the pits.
Yeah, I'm on lap 2. I mean, he must have a broken wing. Um, yeah, this is a very special track. Is it? I think you said on one of the broadcasts that it's the oldest track on the F1 calendar. Did you say that, or am I just
It's one of
dreaming
the
it?
oldest.
Yeah.
It's not the first track to ever hold a F1 race, but it was on the inaugural F1 calendar back in 1950. Back when
Oh,
this track didn't. Back when this track actually had an oval connected to it.
yeah.
Fun fact: there is an oval connected to this track. The original Monza lap used to be like you would go through the Monza lap as normal,
Yep.
minus the chicanes. But then you'd actually, like, around the Parabolica, you'd actually start on an oval instead of going on the start-finish straight. So that
You know
was
what's cool?
that's an
I'm
interesting
sorry,
fact.
Rex. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but did you know when I was there, I saw the oval. The oval is still there, like where zombies passing right now. Behind the paddock, right here where these trees are, and the Pirelli thing, the oval's still there. You can still see it.
Yeah, the oval is pretty heavily overgrown as the governor goes for a move side by side. The governor and keeper trying to battle it out. I think a bit of carbon fiber was just blown off there. It is the battle of the pink V-carb and the white Red Bull making their way through. But yeah, as the oval has been mostly reclaimed by nature, it is, I think it's a steeper oval than the Daytona International Speedway, which for reference, that's about 38 degrees of banking as the governor gets a really good exit coming out of the second Variante into the first and second Lesmos. And he gets a move done temporarily, but look at this. You got Kami United looking to split the both, and
Oh
he's
my
got them
goodness.
both. That is a beautiful overtake there from the
So I
Red
think
Bull
this
driver. And I think Keeper
this
is
is
going to try to make a move. He thought about it, but no moves into Ascari. This has been a pretty, honestly, a pretty clean opening set of laps.
yeah, it's actually cleaner than the four race, which I should thank Keeper for helping me get out of DRS within the first couple turns, because Keeper really did me a solid there. Not planned either, so it was pretty nice. Um, so Rekus, if you had the option, you have one option. You can either go one or the other. Go to the Daytona 500 or go to the Monza or the Italian Grand Prix as they call it. Which one would you choose? Oh, keeper,
Ooh,
keeper
and
did it
yep,
again. Keeper
and he
did
got
it
hit with a
again.
penalty for it too. I would probably say, now this is a tricky one because I am a Floridian, but I would probably have to actually say Monza because I'm not really much of a, now, I'm not much of a NASCAR fan, admittedly, but if you were to say maybe Daytona, like the Rolex 24 that's happening actually this weekend, then it might be an even tougher choice. But what's definitely tough now is Common United trying to defend from the rapid McLaren of Aiden is Raiden. Aiden is rapid here as he gets the move done with DRS. And he is up into third position. While the front two have really just started running away with this one. And Sitz is going to have to try to get himself situated. God, that's an awful one. This is why we love the reserve program, folks. But we have Sitz now trying to make his move here. Trying to find any kind of gap possible. He's going to line it up and try to send it around the outside. Oh, a spin and some contact there between Sitz and Zombie.
Oh my God.
And now this DRS train has been broken. As now Common United is trying to catch up to Aiden.
This is the reserve program, but I think most of these drivers are full-time drivers, which is hilarious.
I mean, hey, it gives them extra practice, although we've already been through Monza. And this is a doubleheader, which I think might be, at least as long as I've been around, this is the first in Rush history where we've actually done a doubleheader of any sort. So, interesting times here.
Oh, and also, when you were commentating Diff 4, I watched it back. You said I'm the first American TP in the OCE league. I have an answer for you. I'm not. I'm not the first American TP in the OCE league. However, if I remember correctly, an American has not won a championship as a TP in the OCE league, which I will be trying to break and put America in that, I don't even know what you call it. It's 2:30 in the morning for me. I'll put America on that pedestal just like I did on the podium the other day. It was so nice seeing the American flag on top for once.
It's always fun seeing like different nationalities go ahead and get some wins here as the Governor is now pretty much just staying tucked in right behind keeper. Like he was pretty much right on the diffuser of that Visa Cash Out Racing Bull and he's still there. He's still pretty much right on the diffuser, essentially bump drafting like it is NASCAR.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting tactic in Formula One. You don't really see it often because some of the front wings are probably more expensive than probably your car and my car combined.
Oh, a front wing in Formula One costs $250,000 US.
Exactly, so way more than your car and my car combined.
Are you kidding me? It's like, oh my goodness, can't even do the math right now. And one thing that's important about this track, Wreck, is wings. If you're running a little high, like even wings that are like, if you have anything on your rear wing over zero, it's really challenging. And so what ends up happening is it's hard to handle the car in sector 2 because you have no wings, but you really make up for it on the straight. And so if you can handle the car through sector 2 at 0 wings, you're gonna do really well here. And I think that's why the Governor cannot get keeper on the straights even with DRS, because I think he has higher wings than keeper. And so the DRS is less powerful if your wings are too high. So that's something you have to take into consideration as well.
Oh, and out of left field, you got Wintercat just diving in through Prima Variante and getting that move done and dusted while missing an end plane nevertheless. So, yeah, and another thing too is that I know the Governor is a controller player like myself, and tire wear on this track is absolutely abysmal when it comes to racing on a controller. Just going through Parabolica and Curva Grande just eat up so much of that front left. It hurts, but that's why tire management is such an important skill in any form of racing, really. I think the only racing series where tire preservation isn't pushed as much.
Oh my gosh.
Is Rally and Keeper trying to go ahead and get a move done here. And Winter's actually been on a massive charge here.
Oh yeah, Winter has his elbows out right now.
And Keeper up into 5th. Oh, he's got to break about a 3-second. Yeah, we do have a fight for the lead here. Coming into Prima Variante. And this time, Soots will be successful temporarily. Look how close there are to locking wheels at this stage. He's
You know,
trying to hug
Records,
the
if you have a
inside, touching
controller,
a bit of
if
grass, and Soots will finally just get entirely in front of Zombie, but Zombie gets such a good exit coming out into the Lesmos. A bit of touching of the wheels, bit of wheel banging here. This is going to get close. These guys are fighting tooth and nail to try to get this done. And Soots
they,
will go ahead and stay in the lead for now.
yeah, and this is when race awareness comes into play, and it's it's really hard to find drivers that have you know over the top race awareness. Because if I'm Zombie at that point, I'm not diving it on the inside of Lesmo One. I'm sticking it behind Suts, and I'm waiting for the DRS straight. Like even right here, I wouldn't even try to pass him. Yeah, he did the right thing. But sending it on the inside of Lesmo One, that's not the corner you want to pass at because the DRS detection point is in the middle between Lesmo One and Lesmo Two. And oh my God, they just hit each other going into the pits. What the hell was that? Oh my goodness.
A 10-second pit lane penalty for Zombie as well, which is really going to hurt him in this one. Luckily,
Oh my
there's no
goodness.
points on offer. It is just the reserve program, so it's for reserves to kind of show what they're made up to TPs and
I guess
ahead
today's
of
full-time
silly
drivers showing
season.
what they got.
And then you got the full-time drivers just getting a little bit of extra practice. And oh, what has happened here? A 10-second penalty for a severe collision for the other V carb. Onto the Mercedes, the
Don't tell
Shining
me.
Swarm.
Don't tell me it's keeper again. We're gonna have to.
No, it was the other V carb, J1.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say I'm gonna give keeper a license point. I don't care if this is the reserve program. I'm gonna do it myself if if keeper's hitting another person. But
crazy times here at Monza. In I was gonna say what div we're in, but nope, it is just a reserve program. It's open to all divisions. As we're seeing, Aiden's Raiden is just making his way through. He's probably going to pit in within the next few laps. I think he is one of the few drivers who actually started on the hard tire compound, so he's going to go around again. He'll start lap number 10 out of 19. And remember, guys, this is not the only race we got on the schedule tonight. We also have Bahrain coming up directly after this, so should be a fun one. Doubleheader here tonight. The first one I can recall, and it might be the first in Rush history.
I want to hear a Rekus fun fact. That's what I want to hear. You got something?
A Rekus fun fact, you say?
Rekus. Rekus fun fact. You know what? I actually have a question for you. Because my fiance asked me this. Your name is Patrick Coleman. Where does
That is
Rekus
correct.
come from?
Uh,
Where?
I this is a question I've actually received a handful of times, and the origin is probably one of the most unexpected things. So, um,
7 a.m. gets a 10-second penalty. Here we go.
yep, as we actually see a pretty good gaggle of drivers here going ahead and doing battle, getting ready to battle into Ascari. And I mean, just look how close they are. Pretty much just following each other along.
Oh
Pretty
my
much
goodness.
weaving through Ascari like a singular snake. Just slithering their way through the very, what's honestly a really tricky corner in Ascari, trying to go through now Parabolica. And you know what, I'll tell you what, I'll answer that question because I know we're going to have a bit of an intermission in between
Yeah. We'll
Monza
answer it then.
Bahrain. I'll answer it then. But now we have Naya now trying to make a move on the Soots. Going to be a bit more cautious there. Naya is, I believe, on the older tires too, having a bit of a snap coming through the Prima Variante. And now we see Soots now trying to close in the gap to Zombie, who does have a 10-second penalty. So really just trying to clear the track, really.
Yeah. And Rekus, when it comes to, I know you asked me this earlier about how to optimize this track the most. You make up the most time, I believe, in this turn 1 and 2. That turn 1 and 2 can make or break your lap. And this one too, turns 3 and 4 as well. These chicanes are so important. And I'll kind of give up one of my secrets too. I don't know if I should do this. Whatever. We're not racing Monza again for this season. The Lesmos, Rekis. If you leave your foot flat on the gas and push the brakes at the same time, you can still carry more speed into the Lesmos instead of taking your foot off the gas. Fun fact.
Yeah, it's a
So,
tactic known as left foot braking, which is pretty common in sim racing, but sometimes pressing both at the same time can give you some pretty good effects. It can kind of give you the best of both worlds.
oh yeah. And I thought, I doing that. No, I'm playing. I invented that, Rekis. I don't know if you know that.
So we'll just have to see how. I mean, hey, you might be able to use it a bit of Bahrain because Bahrain, and we'll see Bahrain later on tonight. But Bahrain does have that really tricky, has a really tricky turn 10 that is absolutely rough to go through. As now we have blue flags here as Quicksilver Deck has retired from the race. So that is the sole Ferrari done and dusted. And we have 7 a.m. now in that checker or that pixelated kick Sauber. Now he's kind of he's being blue flagged, and he ignored the blue flag long enough, and he gets hit with a 10-second time penalty there. And that
Oh
put
my
a
goodness.
massive gap in between Soot and Zombie. So the Williams driver definitely not going to be happy about that one.
Oh, for sure. And we got a redeemed Ask Comms Q&A from Karubi81, but never put a question in there. So, Karubi, if you want to throw your question in there, that'd be pretty cool, man.
Yeah, we'll add it to our Q&A or commentator podcast essentially that's going to happen in between this and Monza, or where am Monza? This and Bahrain. H-Town said it was about, well, now it's about 2:40 a.m. for him. It's about 3:40 for me. So you got the late night gang, as now as the governor's going to try to make a move onto Keeper. He's got the DRS. He's got the speed. And does he have the position? Keeper trying to go late on brakes, trying to stay on the inside, but it does not matter. The Honda-powered Red Bull is going to continue on, and it will jump up into P6.
Actually, Rekis, it's not a Honda-powered Red Bull anymore this year. It is a Ford-powered.
This is the Honda-specific livery, however, and I'm actually
Huh.
really curious to see, have you actually heard of the Ford engine sound from the V-Carb at Imola that was testing about a day ago?
I did not, but I can only imagine it is a clanking metal and you know how when you get into a Ford car and it has that doo that anytime I hear Ford, that's what I hear. I don't know why. I don't
It
know if you know what I'm
actually,
talking about. Maybe
it,
maybe I'm just
I know what you're talking about, but a Ford engine actually does sound pretty good in a Formula One car. Well, technically, it's actually a Red Bull engine with Ford assistance or a
ah,
Ford partnership. So technically, we can go technical all day long, but what we do, what we do know
it,
is that the engines actually don't sound too bad for this regulation cycle. They actually, they sound actually kind of beefy. Not gonna lie, I think I've actually heard every engine except for the Honda.
have
I
you heard the
know
Ferrari? Oh yeah, the Ferrari did.
Cadillac
Ferrari did. Oh yeah, and Cadillac. Yep, you're right. You're right.
and Alpine actually just was doing testing at Silverstone, so the Mercedes engine sound has been kind of revealed to us finally, at least on track. And but we'll see how 2026 goes. It's a new regulation cycle, and it's actually a DLC for F125. So as long as they add some career mode stuff, I will be a very, very happy camper when it comes to 2026. But
That's what
now
I
we
was gonna
have,
ask you. If you play this game, why don't you ever hop in a race with us, Rekis?
you guys do not want to see that. I will just say that straight up. But we are seeing some absolute drag racing here from Soots and Aiden. It's going to be a run down to the line. And Aiden will hold on for now. But here's the thing. This is really a fight for the lead with 5 laps to go. This is really just a fight for the win as Aiden Actually, sorry, Zombie does have the 10-second penalty looming over him still. So that's going to drop him pretty much, it'll only drop him to third, but it'll still drop him out off the podium, off the top step. So Suts now and Aiden practically fighting for the win here. As Cruise Station is going to go ahead and get a 3-second time penalty. And, oh, some of these penalties are rough because you got 9 seconds for Cruise Station, 16 for J1. And then you got 3 for Naya, Keeper, and then 10 for Zombie. So penalties are pretty plentiful here. Curious to see if they'll transfer over to Bahrain.
Yeah, and Bahrain is a very different type of circuit to Monza. And not only just the layout of the track, but also the tarmac, or I don't know what they call it over there in Bahrain. Is it cement or tarmac? I don't know what they call it, Rekis, but you know what I mean. The material that they use for the tarmac is a lot rougher, and so the tire wear is a lot higher there than it is at Monza, also because of the turns and nature of the track. But you also have to take into consideration of the tarmac as well. Did I just say that 3 times? It's 2:40 in the morning, guys. Cut me a break.
And also, not to mention, you also got the desert heat to kind of contend with as well. So
Yes.
that's going to generally make the track hotter, make the tires hotter, cause that rubber to expand quite a bit so you get more contact patch. That's why warming the tires is always important, especially at some of the cooler tracks. It's because, and actually, funny enough, at the go-kart track I work at, a lot of us warm our tires up just because, I mean, it gets extra heat and extra grip into those tires. So better grip, better times. It's a pretty flawless formula, but now we have a 3-way drag race here. Alpine versus McLaren versus Williams. Oh, fighting it out here for position. Wintercat now gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations as Suts now is trying to secure a win here in Monza. He's going to try, he's going to think about a move. But no, Pete Tuck's here. Probably going to really wait till the final lap really to try to make any of these aggressive pushes here.
Yeah, this race is more about picking your spots. If you push the whole time, you're gonna wear out your tires and you're gonna end up losing a lot more time. I know people, some of them like SJ did the 2-stop, and you really can't use the offset of or the undercut of the tires just because you make up the most time in the corners, especially from the offset from new tires to older tires. And Monza's mostly full throttle straights or even Curva Grande or Parabolica. It's not really corners that you make up time at. All you have is turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, the 2 Lesmos in the Ascari, and that's really it. Everything else, and I know it sounds like a lot, but that's only probably 30% of the track, not even. So one stop is the way to go here, but at 19 laps, um, I don't know. I've never actually raced a 19 lap here at Monza. Funny enough.
I have done it quite a bit in career mode, and the controller tire wear always just bites me every single time. So it's a track that I can do decent at, but Monza's not my favorite by a long shot here. As we begin the penultimate lap of the reserve program race here in Monza, round 1. Round 2 is going to be just around the corner, as we have said multiple times. It is a doubleheader here tonight. We got Bahrain after this with short quali in Bahrain and then another 35% race. So we got a long night here, actually. Longer than I think most of the regular divisional races, I must say. So it should be an interesting one. Wintercat and Governor going at it, doing some scrapping here a bit further back as they make their way through Prima Variante for Prima Variante for the penultimate time, as these guys are going to continue to scrap it out here. And while these guys are battling, we have a battle for the lead. 3-second time penalty there for
He was driving like
Suts.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rekus. I don't know why it was lagging a little bit. I didn't realize you were still talking, and then and then it just came back with you mid-sentence. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
All good. Connection hasn't actually been my friend tonight, so if anything does disconnect or lag, I do apologize. But we do got the final lap here of the Italian Grand Prix. Aiden trying to go deep. He's trying to force his way through Prima Variante, and he's got it. What a move there from Aiden is Raiden. But he actually loses that position again to Zombie. So, and actually, you know what, H-Town? I'll let you take the rest of this one.
Okay. Okay. Should I do it in Italian? No, I'm playing.
If you
I don't
want.
know. I don't know Italian records, but fun fact, I am part Italian, and I actually have 5 home races on the Formula One calendar. Isn't that hilarious? Uh, you have Miami, you have Coda, you have Vegas, and then you have Imola and Monza. That's 5 home tracks. I think that's the most out of any driver. But we have TTV Zombie, actually a driver for Mercedes. He did not get to race this week, unfortunately, but he is definitely putting everyone else on notice that if he would have raced, he would have had a good result. Aiden's rating is behind him. The man from Australia is the man from Monza. El Partizanato TTV Zombie finishes the Italian Grand Prix in the first place position. And then this is the part where everybody goes crazy and screams and cries. And that's what happened in 2024 when I was there. You know, people were crying, Ruckus. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And I
that
and I
doesn't
was one of those people.
particularly surprise me too much. But
And I was
Aiden
one of
is
those people.
Raiden will win here in Monza due to penalties of both of his rivals for tonight. Soots with 3 seconds, Zombie with 10. And Aiden is Raiden will pick up the win here in his McLaren. And then Jazzy will round out the top 5. It'll be a drag race to the line that Zagavner is going to win due to penalties, so he gets promoted to P6, Wintercat P7. Keeper will come home in P8, Naya P9, and then it's going to be Shining Swarm will be the next one. And J1 will finish, we'll see if he actually still finishes. He finishes in P12 after penalties were applied. And then Cruise Station is the last driver to finish the race. 7 a.m. and Quicksilver Deck did not finish the Grand Prix. And now it is going to be Cruise Station being the last driver to round out Parabolica here tonight. And he's going to go ahead and make his way through the Parabolica for one last time. And he's going to drift it around. And Cruise Station will round up the field here tonight and spin it back into the wall just for a little bit of extra showmanship. And that is race 1 of the night done and dusted.
So Karubi never typed in a question, and he redeemed Ask Comps Q&A. So I'm wondering what his question was.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting one. But the driver flying the Irish flag, Aiden is Raiden, on the top step up at the podium here in
Irish.
Monza.
Wow, I never would have guessed that.
And here we go. We're going to go ahead and do a celebration here. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at our race superlatives. Pretty much almost a grand slam here. Aiden is Raiden got race winner, fastest lap driver of the day, with Naya getting the most overtakes and to Governor being the cleanest driver on the field. Going through our race results here, it is going to be Aiden is Raiden, Soots, Zombie, Carmen United, Jazzy, the Governor, Wintercat, Keeper, Naya, Shining Swarm, Paulin, J1, Cruz, Quicksilver, and 7 a.m. rounding out the field. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick step back, and we're going to catch ourselves a bit of a breather. And we'll be back here shortly before getting on with the second round of this tonight in Bahrain. We'll be back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back heading into what is actually technically you guys get 3 races, so we get a triple header here tonight, which should be a pretty fun one because Bahrain is a fun track. You do have some really good spots for overtaking. It's also a pretty new track. It's been around since about 2004, and it's used pretty much in Formula One and endurance racing. It's kind of really become a staple in both categories. So it should be a fun one to see how this one kind of evolves. Two
Before the,
kilometers over the speed limit. That is a rough one there, Zombie. Sutzi with the Tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much for doing that. You're absolutely awesome. Love to see it. And yeah, I think H Town was also under the. I know H Town is still going to be here. He'll jump in at some point. But
am I
yeah, it's
not? Can you not hear me?
interesting stuff here. It's kind of rare for us to actually have a double header on our hands.
Bone, bone.
All right, there we go. So we'll just have to see how this one kind of plays out. It's going to be a fun one. We already got some cars already taken to a track. This time it is not a one-shot quali. It is a short quali with a sprint and a feature. So should be some good racing action here. And I know we were actually looking for a. We're actually waiting for a Q&A comms here, but actually H-Town has been disconnected. So that is a unfortunate one. Maybe his Wi-Fi might have bit the dust. We will just have to see. But I'll wait for him to get back to actually answer his question from earlier. If you guys ever have any questions, just feel free to ask it in the Twitch chat, or you can go ahead and redeem a comms Q&A, and then we will answer the question to the best of our abilities. So yeah, I think we actually did just lose H-Town. So once again, I want to give a massive shout out, and I'll give him. Well, if he was on track, I'd give him some screen time. But a massive shout out to Soots for the Tier 1 subscription. A 1-month streak. And they have subscribed for 3 months. Excellent, excellent stuff there. Might be one of my favorite people on the night for that alone. Kidding, but yeah, once again, we actually do genuinely really appreciate all the support you guys have shown us over the preseason and the first round. And now we get a little bit of a preview of what this next week has in store. So it is going to be a short quality, so 1 session to decide them all. We did gain 2 new drivers. We've gained Coop, and we have gained Soup. So we have gained a Sauber and a Haas here tonight. We'll see what they bring to the table. As we do have Cruise Station now, we're on board with the Haas driver, making his way through, going through the really difficult turn 10. And the nice thing about Bahrain too is that it is a very wide circuit for the most part. So you do get some really good overtaking opportunities, especially, I mean, pretty much right after turn 2 and 3 is a good spot. Obviously coming out of the final corners, and then pretty much the part that really should have a DRS zone right at the end of Sector 3, where we see Cruise Station at the moment. And he's going to go ahead and make his way to line. What's his time going to be? He'll be the first time of the night. It'll be a 1:29.6 to go ahead and kick things off here in our short quali. 7 a.m. comes in with a 1:30.4. About 7 1/4 tenths behind. And that is some pretty good banking laps here. The track is going to get rubbered in as we get closer to the end of the session. But I do want to ask you guys, just because we got some time, is there any bold predictions you guys have for the 2026 F1 season? I'm going to say that my bold prediction, and this may hurt some Ferrari fans, and I do apologize, that Williams might outperform Ferrari in the constructors. That is my bold prediction. It's probably a very wrong prediction, but it's bold for a reason. So now we're going to actually see what one of our newcomers can do. Soup actually is, I think he just went on an additional cool or startup because he was almost 20 seconds off the pace. We'll check in with other newcomer Koopsie, as now Koopsie is trying to make his way through, coming through the last couple of corners. And we'll see what his time is going to be. It's looking to be pretty rapid here. Might be provisional pole, and provisional pole it is by 63 hundredths of a second. Nicely done there from the Sauber, as Shining Swarm has invalidated, so we'll jump a little bit further down to Com United. Com United now making his way through. It's a purple sector 1 though for the Red Bull, so Com United still got a little bit of fight left in him after Monza. So now it's going to be a run down into turn 10. This is such a difficult set of corners, probably one of the weirdest sets of corners in Formula One right now. So it's an interesting sequence. And I think probably that's where it messes me up. Bahrain is my favorite track. Honestly, it's such a fun one to race on. It's a good mix of technical and speed, which is how every track really should be. And Com United getting invalidated. He was doing such a good job until that point. But unfortunately, track limits are no respecter of persons unless you're Patty Pat from 2 seasons ago at Austria. A pretty obscure reference. There might be somebody who gets that one, but that's the only person who I think track limits actually prefers. As we go ahead and just kind of keep an eye on everything here. And actually, we're going to do something a little different, something that isn't commonly done here. Let's go ahead and pick a driver. We'll run on board for the rest of Com United's lap. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I like to call the Reckus Hydration Lap. So this is a perfect chance for you guys and myself to go ahead and get hydrated, drink some water. I know Red Bull may taste good, Monster, Celsius, Bang. Insert energy drink here probably tastes good, but it's good to get some water in your systems as well. As the Red Bull of Com United makes his way through, he's got a couple of corners left. And then we'll go ahead and hop on board. We'll hop on board with Shining. Yeah, we'll actually hop on board with Shining as he goes ahead and begins his next lap. Com United actually coming into the pits. So when Com United begins his lap, we're going to go ahead and just take a step back and enjoy the sights and sounds of that Mercedes. And then we're going to go ahead and just go through the rest of the session. We're about to wrap up the session here for qualifying, so a lot of drivers are probably getting ready to send their final laps on through. So it's going to be a very, very fast and furious time here in qualifying as Shining Swarm is getting ready to begin his lap in the Mercedes. He's only got 2 more corners left to go. And then we're going to go ahead and begin the hydration lap here. And here we go, coming on the start-finish line. And we're going to take a step back and let you enjoy the sights and sounds of the Mercedes here at Bahrain. We'll be back. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the hydration lap. Hopefully, you guys got some water in your system. I certainly did. So, now it's pretty much, we came back at the perfect time because now it's the final about 10 minutes, or sorry, about final minute of qualifying here. So, all 17 drivers are going to be fast and furious on their way through this qualifying session. And remember, it is a singular qualifying session, so one session to rule them all, as we did get another driver in. So it'll be 18 drivers taking to the sprint race here in Bahrain. And now it's going to be a fast and furious mad dash here as Cruise Station is setting purple sectors across the board. So Cruise Station, who had a pretty rough race last time in Monza, might have a really good shot here in Bahrain to go ahead and get things done here. So here we go. Cruise Station is trying to make his way through. Coops is retired, so Coops will not be setting an improvement in his Sauber. And actually, he is retired. I think he actually just went deep and just kind of retired on track. Maybe a crash, I'm not too sure. But Cruise Station now, we'll see. Qualifying is done. Quicksilver's done. J1 is done. Tryhard is done. Calm United is done without setting a time. Cruz is actually also going to go ahead and come into the pits. Not sure if that was a smart call, but maybe just wasn't feeling the lap. Can Zombie get another pole here? Shining Swarm is out as well. And look at that. I mean, Cruise Station and Zombie only a thousandth of a second away from each other. As now Zombie is going to go ahead and try to get on pole position here in Bahrain, putting everybody on notice here. And I know Soup is done because he was driving very slowly in the middle of Sector 2. And Suts takes provisional pole with a 1:28.507. Is Zombie going to be on track to beat that? Now he's going to beat a 1:27.6 from Aines Raiden. Zombie's going to come across the line into pole position, a 1:27.59. And that is another pole position for Zombie here in Bahrain. He is showing exactly what he's made of here. And that is P1 for the Alpine. The Mercedes driver driving for Alpine tonight gets pole position by 55 hundredths of a second ahead of Aines Raiden, Wintercat, Suts, Coopsy, Cruise Station, the Governor, Quicksilver, J1, Naya, Shining Swarm, Soup, Jazzy, Keeper, 7 a.m., and then the driver, and then Paulin And then the drivers who did not set a time of Try Hard and Calm United. Not setting times here in the session. And now we look forward to a very short sprint. I believe it's 7 laps here for the sprint race at Bahrain. So here we go. There will be no pit stops here for this one. It'll be just fast and furious for all what I believe it to be 7 laps here at Bahrain, as the sun is actually beginning to set here in the desert in the Kingdom of Bahrain at the Sakir International Circuit, a circuit known for Formula One and World Endurance, as well as some other endurance and GT events throughout the year. And a track that has actually seen 2 different layouts raced in modern times. Fun fact, I think, I could be wrong about this one as well, so take this fun fact with a grain of salt, but this is the only track that I am aware of that has actually been run on 2 separate layouts within the same season. Back in 2020, we ran the layout that we are currently using and also the outer layout, which I would personally love to see the outer layer come back. It's a very quick circuit. Laps were sub 1 minute. And overall, it was a really, really fun time. But here we go. The sprint is coming up here as the 5 red lights are out. And it's lights out. And away we go here in Bahrain for a 7-lap sprint. Fast and furious. As Zombie and Aiden going deep into turn 1. Now turn 1 you can make a very good lunge into. And we have some drama in the back. Keeper, Soup, Try Hard, Jazzy all getting it wrong at the start of the sprint race. And now we are seeing drivers going ahead and scrapping their way through. And now it's kind of single file line like one big snake. It's the Governor, J1 coming to blows here. Actually, that is the Governor and Naya. The Red Bull and the Mercedes doing battle here. Bit of a brake lockup coming into turn 10. Lots of drivers fighting for lots of positions here. So this is going to be J1 now trying to make a move onto the Ferrari of Quicksilver, who really did not have a great time in Monza during the last reserve race. And now we are seeing here that it is going to be just pandemonium every single lap here for the sprint. Keeper gets a move done on the 7 a.m. and J1 making an aggressive move, and it comes to failure. A massive hit and a massive spin. Parked in the middle of the road. He's going to get himself disqualified if he stays there too long. I don't know if he was trying to bait out a safety car or what, but that was definitely not the smart thing to do. And I know that would be a mighty penalty. As Pawnhell is out of the session, he's retired in the pits. Something happened with Sutz. Might have got caught up in some drama there at turn 1. Turns 1 and 2 are very tight, very narrow, so it could be a doozy trying to get through. And now Zombie leads with Naya getting a 3-second time pen for the troubles. And now Naya is past Quicksilver deck, but the Ferrari and the Mercedes are going to continue to battle like it's 2019. Ferrari and Mercedes doing generational battle here through the desert. Quicksilver trying to get something done here onto Naya, who does have that penalty looming over them. As now it is going to be Aiden Israel trying to do the same and try to put pressure onto Zombie. Try to get another win here, even if it is a sprint win. Which, if it was a points-paying race, it wouldn't pay out as much, but still very good points. Bahrain is a sprint race this week in Rush Racing, so all divisions will have a sprint race here at Bahrain. It'll be a bit longer than this one, but overall it is still sprint weekend, and we're about halfway through the sprint here as Wintercat now is trying to look. He's got a front row seat to the battle of his temporary Alpine teammate of Zombie racing against Aiden. But look at this. They are side by side. Beautiful stuff. Excellent battling between the two. And now a switchback maybe into turn 8. Coming now into turns 9 and 10. Try with a penalty. A deep dive from the McLaren. Gets it done. What a maneuver. What a send. And Zombie looking already to dial up a response. But Aiden with that DRS for getting it right with the timing line. Just is able to hold on that little bit longer. Zombie now trying to continue to fight. I think Wintercat had a bit of a moment there. Yeah, he had a bit of a slide coming out of that corner. Losing a bit of time. Zombie now trying to get on the inside. He's trying to maybe try to game the DRS here. And it looks like he might have got it. Running the F1 Esports line, a little bit dusty out there on the painted strip. And now we're going to see the pass being done here. Once again, getting a good front row seat. A bit of a break lock up there for Aiden, trying to defend the position. As we're on lap 4 out of 7 here for the sprint. And not going to happen yet. So here we go. Another fight, another duel. Late on the brakes, contact between the two. As the two just extremely rapid drivers here. The pole sitter and the race winner trying to do battle here. McLaren and Alpine scrapping it out. What in 2026 will be 2 Mercedes-powered cars. Absolutely getting into it here. As Aiden is going to try to make magic happen here. Going to go ahead, try to send it. Got DRS, got the speed. Later on the brakes. But still, it is just chaotic stuff here in this Bahrain sprint. For no points, mind you. These are guys just racing for the love of the game. Absolutely just racing for the love of the game here. As now it's going to be a pure fight between these guys. Absolutely giving it everything here. As we have 3 laps to go in the sprint race. Zombie now trying to go ahead and get up the inside. Has opted out of this one. He's actually retired on track. Might be a crash potentially. Don't know. I wish we could get a replay of that. But now we have Wintercat now trying to go ahead and get into the mix as well to try to get a sprint win here. Oh, but he goes way off track there. Going to lose a little bit of time there. Definitely get at least a warning for track limits. As J1 gets a penalty, he'll become the second driver to do so. As Wintercat now is trying to do everything in his power to try to get a win here potentially. But if these guys keep fighting like this, then Cruise Station and Coopsy are going to be pretty much right back in the mix. So Wintercat now trying to make moves happen, trying to get things done. As now Aiden is Raiden. He's got an Alpine in front and an Alpine behind that he's got to have to deal with as they get ready to begin the penultimate lap of the sprint here in Bahrain. And he's trying to wait because he knows he's going to get that massive DRS boost. And Wintercat does run a bit wide. Bit of interesting lines here. Coopsy actually does jump into the podium spots here at the sprint. And his fellow Salbert has retired from the Grand Prix on track. So on-track retirements are very, very, very frowned upon. So if this was a Grand Prix, or actually a regular season race, then that would be a pretty hefty penalty coming his way. As now Coops and Wintercat are fighting it out here for position. As Aiden is Raiden, so trying to get another win on the night, trying to get a sprint win in addition to the win he had at Monza. He's gonna go in and try to get it done here. He's probably mostly just gonna wait for the final DRS zone to really try to get him move the stick. And Aiden now kind of just staying just behind, trying to build up the batteries for one final push. The governor gets a 3-second time penalty for his efforts, getting a hefty track limit violation in the process. And now we are getting ready to begin the final lap of the Bahrain sprint race here. And here we go. It's going to be a fight. Aiden is right in, chasing down Zombie. Coops trying to avoid being chased down by Wintercat just behind. And here we go. Final lap of the sprint race here in Bahrain. Aiden shook for a move, but there is nothing there. He's got 2 more DRS zones to really try to make magic happen. Wintercat gets a penalty, so that's going to hurt him for podium contention. Aiden now shaking to the outside, trying to get a move around the outside. Coming into turn 4, he goes a bit wide, but he sticks it in, gets it done. What a maneuver from Aiden is right in. Look at him. Increases dominance here tonight. Fantastic move. Fantastic stuff. And we are seeing some excellent racing here. Aiden now he's going to try to hold on, but his rival does have DRS comparatively, so Zombie's going to burn every bit of battery, but so is Aiden, both drivers trying to burn every ounce of battery from their power units as they get ready for one final dash here, one final sprint in the sprint, and Zombie is going to try to close it up. He wants to get as close as he can to really make this final push potentially successful. But coming now onto the final straight, it is going to be Aiden is right in taking another win in the sprint, followed by Zombie and Koopsy will round out the podium here in the sprint race. What a sprint that was. Good battling, and it's only a preview. It's a preview of a preview, funny enough. So a preview of what to come in the feature race, which is in turn a preview of what you'll see here in Rush Racing League. So that is the sprint race done and dusted, and now we turn our attention to the feature. What a battle that was. That was a lot of fun to watch, and judging by Zombie's reaction in Twitch chat, is a lot of fun to be in as well. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and wait for Soup to finish up the lap. And then that is our sprint race done and dusted here. And Zombie has actually left the session, so he's actually dropped down to He's dropped down to P14. That was unexpected. So it is going to be Aiden is Raiden taking the sprint win. Coops will inherit P2, but we know it is Zombie coming across the line at P2, and then it is Koopsy, Crew Station, Wintercat, Quicksilver, Keeper, Combinated Soots, Jazzy, Shining Swarms, the Governor, Naya, J1, Soup, 7 a.m., Tryhard, and Paul and Hell rounding out our field here tonight. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick step back while we get ready for the Grand Prix, as we go ahead and let this screen kind of finish up, and we will be right back. Alrighty, everybody, we are back, taking a quick little intermission as we get ready for another qualifying session here. This will set our Grand Prix grid for another 35% race here, which is about 20 laps here in Bahrain. So we're just going to have to see. Drivers will have learned some lessons from the last session, from the last race. They'll know where they can push, where they can't push, stuff of the nature. And while we're actually on board with the Mercedes, Mercedes actually has just revealed their 2026 F1 livery. So for those of you who might have seen it, how do you guys like it? You guys like it? You guys hate it? You guys are indifferent? I think it's probably one of the best liveries that Mercedes has actually shown off at any point. I think it's probably one of, if not my favorite Mercedes. So it's a pretty cool one. It's honestly better than I thought it was going to be. I was honestly kind of expecting a full, just kind of a redo, either a full black or full silver card, but I'll take it. But another question I'll go ahead and ask you guys while drivers are going ahead and getting their banker laps in. What is your favorite 2026 livery so far? I am just going to go ahead and ask that, and I'll go to give my answer while everybody's still setting laps. And actually, my favorite livery so far is actually got to be the Haas livery. The Haas livery for 2026 is really, really good. It's probably one of my favorite liveries I've ever seen. If I were to go ahead and rank them from best to worst, I would probably just go ahead and say Haas is probably right up at the top for me. Then I'd have to go with Red Bull as my next one. I do like the Red Bull. I like how they changed it up. The glossy blue is a nice addition. And then going from there, now I'd have to actually say there's not one on track at the moment that I can see. But I'd actually go with Mercedes for my next one. I do like how the Mercedes looks. Very nice, very clean, very simple. And then I would go with the V-Carb. The V-Carb actually kind of disappointed me. I was expecting a lot. I don't know why I was expecting a lot more green. I was expecting a lot more from the Cash App partnership. But I would put V-Carb there. And to me, so far, the weakest livery of the bunch, and once again, we don't have one on track, but the weakest one to me has got to be the Audi livery. I don't know, it just seems a little plain for my liking, but I'd love to know what you guys think. And now that the Ruckus 2026 livery review is out of the way, we're going to go ahead and continue on with the racing action here. As now we are in qualifying. It's another short quali, like it was mentioned in chat, so one session to rule them all, and then we got 20 laps here at Bahrain. Quicksilver now making his way through, and he will jump up into P6, about a second and a half off the time. We'll jump to his teammate who has jumped in here pretty recently in Symphonic. And Symphonic now is going to go in and try to get some good positioning himself. He's going to look to try to get a good result here, to get some good practice for Bahrain. There's a lot of full-time drivers racing here. Pardon me. A lot of full-time racers here, really just here to get practice for Bahrain. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, because practice makes perfect. I mean, oh, and that was a very sketchy moment there for, I think that might have been Tryhard. Yeah, that was Tryhard and Symphonic having a bit of a moment there. Sure, Symphonic was entirely thrilled about how that one went. Probably over the moon, jumping up and down with joy. But now that's a pretty rough one there. If he's not careful, that could result in impeding later on in the season. So You just gotta be careful. But it is a reserve program, so for a lot of drivers, that could be. I mean, it's good practice and a good learning experience as well. All right, so we have actually decided to call an audible, and the original practice mic is back. I'm just going to go ahead and call a bit of an audible. Unfortunately, the other headset, I honestly couldn't tell you what's wrong with it. So we're just going to go ahead and call an audible. We're going to switch it. It's going to sound quite a bit different, so hopefully this does sound a lot better. So yeah, I do apologize for that. I was hearing it on my end too, so it's a very weird one. So we're going to switch back to the original mic, and now we're going to go ahead and just... Oh, everything is better. If it's not, please do not hesitate to let me know. We want to bring you guys the best experience possible, so I will try to sort out the other mic at a different time, but for now we are going to return back to the original headset. So the voice quality is going to sound a bit different for the rest of tonight, but that's the thing when it comes to racing, whether you're on the broadcast side or whether you're on the racing side, you just got to kind of roll with stuff. You got to just kind of call audibles every so often. So we are now down to the final 6 minutes of qualifying here. I was just doing a check on my end to make sure that everything was okie dokie, and it seems like it is, so hopefully that is much better for you guys as well. It's about 5.5 minutes left of qualifying, so it is going to be pretty fast and furious throughout the rest of this session. So it is going to be fast and furious here And then once again, just like I was in or just like I was in the sprint, it is a singular qualifying session to rule them all. So it's now up into P4, and now it is going to be time to kind of just see. There's 3 drivers going to get the set time. The driver who's been on pole for pretty much all night of Zombie, Koopsie, and Keeper all get the set lap times here. I'm going to jump to the lone Aston Martin here. The team switching to Honda power units in 2026. Switching to Honda this year. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it'll be a good partnership. And hopefully these reserve programs will bring in some good partnerships later on down the line in terms of drivers and teams. I know there's been some really impressive drivers tonight. Zombie's been pretty impressive. Koopsie's been pretty impressive. Aiden has been fantastic. Soots has been making the most of what he's got in that Williams. So a lot of drivers really just trying to get some good practice in for Bahrain. And it'll be an interesting qualifying session to kind of wrap things up. So now it is time. We're almost at the kind of rush hour, as I like to call it. So almost at the rush hour where qualifying gets really hectic. You'll run into a fair amount of traffic. As now Soup is going to go ahead and continue on. See if they can improve. Currently 1.7 seconds behind the current pole time set by Aiden is rated. And we will see if the Haas can at least get closer to Crustacean, his teammate. Having 2 different animals on the same team is actually a pretty funny thing. You have a crab and a crustacean, and you have a duck. Very fun pairing, nevertheless. So it is just about, we're about probably a minute away from rush hour kicking off here in Bahrain to go ahead and wrap up. And that was a very unintentional punt, but you'll love what the brain can think of at nearly 5 a.m. here in the United States. So Soup is going to go ahead and continue on here. And no, not being an improvement, although I think that was really just kind of a warm-up lap to begin with. Rush hour is just about to kick off, as now Crustacean is going to go ahead and begin another lap here. Trying to get closer, trying to at least get within knocking distance of pole position. And now it's going to be a fight here between all these drivers, trying to get out, trying to get their out laps in, trying to get everything to get dialed in and ready for the final lap of quali. As Crustacean now is trying. Got purple sector though, so that's promising. That's at least a personal improvement. So maybe there is a shot for the Haas driver. The Governor just behind is going to get a really good tow off the back of the Haas here. And now, actually, he's going to go ahead and just pull over to the side of the road and wait it out a bit. I believe he's still on a warm-up. Yeah, he's still on an outlap, so still got some time to go, but now we will see how Cruz is going to go ahead and go through. Going to get a good tow there from his teammate. His teammate gets out of the way, lets him on through, and he's burned so much battery here. I think he's burned a bit too much. And now he's going to go ahead and just burn everything here right at the end. Going to try to hop on the esports line. Going to deploy. And no, he's in the pits. So that is Blue Station done and dusted. Next up, we're actually going to go on board with Koopsie, who's just about to begin a lap. So here we go. Riding on board now with the Kick Sauber. as the Sauber now is coming into turn one. Very nicely done there. It's very tricky. If you're not too careful over that curve, you will invalidate your time. The good exit out of turns 2 and 3. Making the run up to turn number 4. Getting a bit of a slide there. Maybe cost them about a tenth if that was a slide. Now they're really twisting technical sector 2. Heading into turn 8. And then you got turns 9 and 10, which is one of the most difficult corners in Formula 1. Definitely the most difficult on the track. Starting out wide, kind of missing the apex on turn 9 and then jumping into turn 10. Aiden's rating on provisional pole, a 1:27.7 is the time to beat. As Aiden he was disqualified. So Aiden went from hero to zero in a moment. Wow, what happened there? Symphonic now promoted to pole position. What about Koopsie? Is Koopsie got anything to say about it? Soots does. Soots is on provisional pole. A 1:27.671. And Koopsie will be done. He will not improve. Wintercat now will be one of the last drivers who can improve to try to take provisional pole position. Wintercat across the line. No improvement there. It all falls down to the Ferrari of Quicksilver, who I believe is, yeah, he's on a cooldown, so that is going to be pole position for Williams. And what a pole position it was. Zombie actually was not even able to set a time. So the two front runners from earlier on in the session are down in the bottom parts of the grid for the Bahrain feature. Very unusual stuff here, but that's what we love about this sport. Soots take a pole position ahead of Symphonic, Wintercat, Calm United, Keeper, Tryhard, Koopsie, Crew Station, Jazzy is the Governor, Naya, J1, Soup, Shining Swan, Quicksilver Deck, 7 a.m., Paulinel, and then Zombie was unable to set a time, and Aiden is disqualified. I'm actually going to see what for. I'm going to see what for if I can find that in time. Parked in a dangerous location for the disqualification. That is a rough one. We're going to go ahead and do some adjustments here while everything is getting situated. Gonna just dial up some volume settings while we go ahead and adjust. And here we go. We're about to go to get into some racing here at Bahrain. And now it is time for 20 laps on the Sakir International Circuit. And then we are going to go ahead and wrap up this reserve program extravaganza. It has been a very fast-paced and fun night here. We had one shot in Monza, 19 laps in Monza. We had Aiden's rated win there, and then we had a sprint race in Bahrain. And now we have a very, very mixed up qualifying grid here to kick off the Grand Prix for reserve program round number 2. We had a doubleheader here tonight. So here we go. It is going to be fast pace. It's going to be beautiful action. You love to see it. Soots going to lead for green as we have those 5 red lights up on the country. And it is lights out and away we go here. And there's already some carbon fiber being spread across the Sakir International Circuit. And Symphonic takes the lead in the opening lap. Soots didn't quite get the launch that he wanted. Wintercat's now going to be breathing down his neck, trying to get the position. As now Wintercat is going to go ahead and try to look for any type of opportunity to get a move done here. As Wintercat is going to go ahead and just duke it out, trying to get every bit of space and getting in, and there's just going deep. Crew Station going deep there, Shining and Zombie all involved in that one. Trying to maybe see if a safety car might come out, going through the little billboard there. And what a dramatic start to this Grand Prix. Symphonics already about 2 seconds ahead. Suts and Wintercat trying to fight it out. Wintercat up into P2 as it sits right now. And Aiden, or no, sorry, it's Tryhard. Knocks off an end play there, trying to get through. Carmenited having a bit of contact himself. And these guys are all duking it out. All trying to scrap for every position known. And here we go. Oh, some more drama here as there's almost a good amount of contact. A B-Carb is wide. Keeper is off the track and he's being kept off track as his teammate of J1 and Jazzy come through. Keeper gets 10-second penalty for track limits there. Whew. Keeper is just not having a great night here tonight. It has been a tough one for him here. Even at Monza is a bit of a tough one there as now Quicksilver is going to try to line up for a shot and he's got a shot. Straight pass. As his midfield is bringing some excitement as Tryhard is now ahead of Sutz. The Williams and the McLaren rivals from the bygone era trying to scrap it at it again. As Sutz now trying to keep it on the inside. There's a gaggle of cars here, pretty much right here on lap 2. The strategy is going to try to be a one-stop. The Mercedes on the inside. Naya trying to get something against Sutz is into the wall. And I think that might be Sutz's race done. And Dustin, no it is not. He's able to reset the car. But he's definitely got damage. And if he's on a wheel, probably some sore wrists as well. So now Carmenited is going to try to make up some space. Symphonics already checked out about 6 seconds ahead. As now Wintercat is going to try to just keep an eye on these two. Carmenited gets the move done just at the detection point. So now it is going to be DRS for the McLaren actually. So he didn't quite get it correct. There's a way you can kind of cheese the detection zones here at Bahrain, and it just did not quite work out for him. As now it is going to be just more absolute battling here in the deserts of Bahrain. And Sutz is out. So Sutz, the man on pole position, is out. And that is a heartbreaking way to end the night for the Williams driver. And I think he is, yeah, he was the sole Williams on track. So a bit unfortunate there for the Williams team, although there is no points on offer, so they can at least take solace in that fact. As now we have some battling here. Crew station into Governor trying to fight through turn 10, through sector 2. And it is going to be a fight here. Crew station trying to make the most of the DRS in the Haas. Trying to use that Ferrari engine to good effect here. Trying to get past. He is pretty much staying right to the back tire. Staying straight to the diffuser of the Governor. As they are going to continue to try to push it on and push it through. As Crew Station now is going to go ahead and try everything he can, but Zagavana did get a pretty good exit. As we jump back up to the front now, Wintercat trying to make a move for position here. Trying to get past Tryhard, who is still missing that front right end plate. And now we will see DRS, not quite enough to get the move done there, but he is so close. But he's so close yet he just can't get the move done. Well, they're actually both missing the same endpoint, so that kind of helps out Tryhard a bit. And now Symphonic is going to try to get some, or sorry, Wintercat's going to try to get something done here as Naya will join the retirement home. As now Naya has retired as well, so we're down to 17 drivers here. With about 17 laps to go. As now Wintercat is going to try to hold on the position. Tryhard is going to try his best to get around, but missing an end plate, there's only so much you can do. As Com United is going to try everything, and I mean everything, to try to hook up an inside move, and it looks like he might get it here. It's going to be a drag race. Going to have to burn some of that ERS, but not quite. Koopsie also thinking about trying to move here. McLaren trying to dive on the inside, and look at this. Beautiful four-way battle heading to turn one, as these guys are going to go ahead and try to shake it up. The moves are being shaken. They are trying every which line to try to get through. Which way is going to be the correct one? We will find out in due time. As Koopsie is now trying to stick one against Com United. He does gain the position onto the Red Bull, and the Sauber is now up into P4, trying to maybe chase down a P2, and actually Triad is actually falling out of the DRS range, which could be pretty crucial here in tonight's event. So you want to stay in DRS range as best as you can. And it looks like Triad might still just be hanging on by dear life in that DRS zone. But now he's got Koopsie to contend with. And speaking of Koopsie, we're going to go ahead and take an onboard lap with Koopsie next time around. And we will check back in a moment. This will be another hydration lap here. So go ahead and get some water, get some drinks, and go ahead and make sure that you are properly hydrated, and we'll be right back in a moment. Alright, so that was an onboard lap there with Koopsie, as he is still trying to fight it out. And in the meantime, Symphonic actually did make a pit stop, so now he's kind of right back in the middle of the field. So these drivers are fighting for a net P2. At the moment, we'll take a look at tires real quick, as a few drivers have opted to make their pit stops pretty early on, all things considered. So yeah, I mean, it's a 20 lap race, so you can go about half on one compound and half on another if you want, or you can try to spice it up, which is what a few drivers have done. So who will probably be the race leader once everybody repits in, being Symphonic now, trying to go ahead and chase down VSC Paul and Hill, trying to go to make the move happen. And now we're going to see how the rest of it goes. I mean, you got to make these laps count after when you have that fresh rubber. He's got the hard tire, so he can probably make that one stick to the end. But it may be a while, so he needs to trying to make the most of that fresh rubber and at least try to get ahead of Paul and Hell and try to chase down the governor here. Symphonic had at one point a 10-second gap in the lead of this race, so we know he's got the pace. He's shown it here in Bahrain. He qualified second, and now he's just going to go ahead and try to use the DRS and he try to make light work of Paul and Hell there in the Aston Martin. Just not able to put up much of a fight, and we have a battle for the race lead here. Aiden is rated, and Wintercat scrapping it out tooth and nail, trying to fight with every fiber of their beings and every bit of carbon fiber that the cars can muster. Every single horsepower being put to the absolute test here, as Aiden does hold on to the race lead. Not quite the net race lead, but still the current race lead at the moment. Now trying to fight from Wintercat and Koopsy. And if these guys keep battling the way it is, then it's going to be Com United who's going to also join the party. So Com United now trying to at least keep them within DRS distance, or at least try to bring them in and try to keep away from J1, who's about 1.6 seconds back himself, as Quicksilver has already started to. Well, now Symphonic is trying to catch up to the Governor, but that's going to be a bit of a tall order, considering that the Governor does have DRS to Quicksilver. As we get ready here for lap number 10, so we're pretty much right about to start the second half of this reserve program race. Our doubleheader here. We are on lap 9 out of 20 here on the second half of our doubleheader. We did rounds 1 and 2 tonight. It is round 2 tonight. So Aiden is rated, trying to go ahead and close. We're trying to close into where he thinks Wildcat might be when he comes into the pits. A bit of a moment there. Try hard and Quicksilver battling it out. Bit of a yellow sector there. Shining Swarm gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he is out of this one. So that is 3 retirements here, and that is unfortunate. You got 3 retirements here very early on, as now Coops is going to go in and try to close the gap to Wintercat. Shining is left the session as well, so that is 3 retirements here, as now Coops is going to try to stay within DRS range of Wintercat to go ahead and try to give us a fight here. As now pretty much with this track and just with some drivers retiring, you do get a sense that the cars do spread out quite a bit during the pit stop. So now it is lap 10s. We're pretty much right at the end of the first half of this reserve program race. 10-second penalty there for speeding in the pit lane for J1K, or J14K. Not a great time for him, unfortunately, here tonight. It's a bit of a rough go of things for the Visa Cash Out Racing Bulls driver. As now the Governor is going to try to go ahead and try to get one over on Symphonic, but Symphonic is on fresher rubber, and he's just been on the ball ever since the Grand Prix started. Took the lead and then never really looked back. But now he's going to go ahead and try to close in to a fellow Ferrari-powered machine of Crew Station. Crew Station now is going to try to run away from the Ferrari, and it looks like he's kind of succeeding in some parts, but not so much on the others. Soup now joins the penalty club, gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. As we do have some battles here in the midfield, as J1 trying to go ahead and fight Quicksilver, and Jazzy having a bit of a scrap here, trying to go out of here, trying to get things done, trying to get things dusted, as Quicksilver is now pretty much in the top 10, trying to stay there. He wants to close into J1, but that's going to be a bit of a tough one there. Symphonic now is going to go ahead and retake the lead. He gets past Cruise Station. Aiden and Wintercat coming to the pits. And so here we go. As now Aiden rejoins the track at Cruise Station now, trying to make a fight, trying to stay in the race lead. Take a look at tires. Cruise Station still needs to pit. So Cruise Station now still needs to pit in. And now Aiden is just 12 and a half seconds back from this battle here. And once Symphonic gets past Cruise, and once Cruise actually makes the pit stop, then Symphonic is going to try to check out again. Going through turns 9 and 10. A very, very difficult sector to try to get stuff done in. And now, from one part of the technical sector to the other, is going to be Jazzy and Quicksilver once again fighting it out. And a bit further up the road, Wintercat and Coopsy are now scrapping for anything they could get at this point. Trying to fight it out here. We will see. He's trying to go ahead and get close enough to maybe wait for a move. But now, as we get ready for the start-finish straight, it is going to be Haas versus Ferrari, America versus Italy. Getting ready to duke it out, but that's not going to last long as Cruise Station does jump into the pits. While we have an ad break going, I do want to say for those of you guys who have subscribed with Twitch Prime, or those of you who aren't viewing guys right now, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. I know we've had some interesting moments here tonight, and I do apologize once again for the audio glitch that happened earlier on. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning on in to the reserve program here tonight. And then on Saturday, we'll be back for Div 1 action. But before we get to Div 1, we still got about 9 laps to go in this reserve program race. And everything is still being fought for here, as now Cooper is trying to close the gap to Wintercat, going a bit deep. And Cruise Station gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits, so he will also join the penalty club here. And boy, oh boy, is that an unfortunate club to be a part of. I mean, I know J1, I think had like, it was somebody in the Monza Bahrain had like about 16 seconds of pen, so hopefully no driver will surpass that, but it is still very, very possible. As now Coopsy is going to go in and try to light things up here, try to get past Wintercat here for that P3 position, try to get onto that provisional podium. While this battle is happening, we're just going to go ahead and ride on board with Wintercat just up ahead and actually just kind of watch as this gap ebbs and flows here with Coopsy. And J1 has retired from the session. Every time it's done on track. And so that's a bit of a unfortunate timing there. And as Coopsy gets past Wintercat, he had the speed, he had the DRS. What about just about a few car lengths back? There's battling happening on there too, three-way car battle. And it's still going on between Wintercat and Coopsy now. Trying to fight for the final podium position here in Bahrain. And Wintercat and Tryhard get in with a 3-second time penalty. So that changes the dynamic of this one up a bit. As now Comm United and Cruise Station are going to go ahead and get ready to scrap it out here on lap 13 out of 20. And actually, we're going to ride on board with this battle, get some quick hydration, and we'll be back. It won't be a full hydration lap, but it'll just be a quick little sip of water. Be sure you guys get some water in your systems as well. Quicksilver deck now getting a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations as we were on lap 14 out of 20, so about 7 or so laps to go. here in this Bahrain feature race Grand Prix here at the Sakir International Circuit. Winter Cat trying to shake for a move, but it just doesn't quite happen. As Kami United now still trying to close up to the McLaren of Tryhard. And now we have the battle between Winter Cat and Coops trying to heat up a bit here. Trying to cope with the desert heat. Side by side. Oh, a bit of contact there. A bit of a turn in. A bit of an early turn in as well there. For Coopsy, a bit of a naughty move there. At least I think. Although granted that might be reasonable now, Stewart. But Winter Guy going on the inside. Trying to hold off. Coopsy here is now Coops and Wintercat are going to fight for a position. The inside line is so prevalent, but you can get such a good run from the outside. So it's really kind of a pick your poison type of ordeal. And once again, just Coopsy just not able to find enough of a gap. There's just not enough real space for him to put that stopper and try to get a move done. It's all just so close yet so far away. Like you can just about touch that position, but it's just not quite there yet. Now we'll see if Coops can get it done this time around in the DRS zone. And now Coops is going to try to hold on and get it done. He's got the DRS. He's going to burn every bit of ERS, but so is Wintercat. Wintercat trying to stick it on the outside. Inside is the preferred line, but you got Wintercat just icing his opponent here and just telling him to chill out a bit as Wintercat now. But Coopsy says, I don't think so. He's going to try to send it out the inside. Try to get a good dive there, but just once again, just not quite enough. Not quite enough to make that move stick. And this is a fun battle to watch here. And also you got Com United and Ops Tryhard pretty much right in there as well. Pretty much right smack dab in the mix for position. And I mean, it's a pretty precarious spot to be if you're the Kick Sauber of Coopsy here. Because Coopsy, on one hand, he's got a pretty good strategy here, and he's got a pretty close gap to Wintercat up ahead. But then you got Tryhard, who's pretty much just right there behind, looking for anything humanly possible to try to get this done. But I mean, once again, it's not over until the checker flag is waving. 5 laps to go, the final 5 laps of the reserve program, round numbers 1 and 2. Coops trying to stick it on the outside. The outside becomes the inside. That might be enough, but no. Wintercat holds on. And now it's going to be a switchback here. Coops actually getting a really good exit there. Trying to make it into turn number 4. And he's going to try to push Wintercat wide. Bit of wheel contact there. And they are side by side. And now they finally separate. They finally tuck in single file line. There's only so much of side by side action you can handle when you're all that close together. But also look at Tryhard. Tryhard is not too far behind, and now he's pretty much right on the gearbox of these guys here up at the front. So Tryhard now trying to shake for anything that is humanly possible. And Wintercat does retake P3 on the track, but now Coopsy and Wintercat are going to scrap it out here, trying to get all these positions, trying to get everything done. And this is a monumental battle that we're seeing here between these two drivers. And just to remind everybody, there's no points on offer for winning this race or any positions in this race. This is all just for showing TPs what you are capable of and just showing the skill you have on deck. Coopsy now going to try to stick it around. And we'll see how this works. This hasn't exactly worked for Coopsy before, but he's going to go to give it another go. And it looks like he might be a bit more successful this time around. And coming now, making his way to turn number 4. The Alpine does have a slight advantage there, but Kupsi is not going to give up that position without a fight. Absolute cinema is happening here on track between these guys. Trying to go ahead and scrap it out while this is happening. And Aiden has actually made a pit stop, so Aiden on fresh new rubber. And look at this, he's also going to join the party, so it's Symphonic now. Almost 30 seconds out front ahead of Wintercat. And there's actually even a lapped Alpine in between them, so this is going to be scary stuff here. Kupsi hasn't made a mistake, and he's fallen down the order. He's down into P6, and he was scrapping it out there. Aiden is ready to back up into the podium spots here. Pretty much on that brand new soft rubber for the final 3 laps of this Grand Prix. Aiden is in a hot seat right now. He's got a really good chance of getting a P2 here. Gonna open up the DRS. The McLaren, while one McLaren is trying to take a position, the other one is trying to avoid a position being taken from him. As Cruise Station and Tryhard trying to fight it out. Aiden's ready to win again, also fighting it out here. Lots of battling here. This race has really come alive. A slow burn for sure here in Bahrain, and that might be what we're going to see in Bahrain coming round 2 of Rush Racing League on Saturday, so stay tuned in for that. Cruise Station gets a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to put a hurt on his race. Wintercat does have a looming penalty over him as well, so not exactly ideal, but he's still going to try to fight for everything he can on track. He was out of DRS range, and now he's still out of DRS range, even while having DRS to the McLaren in front. Aiden now doing exactly what he needs to, getting the most out of that soft tire compound. And now we have Com United here trying to get a move on the Tryhard, and that move will succeed. Tryhard actually about to lose 2 positions here. He lost one to Cruise Station as well. Cruise Station looking to cruise his way into the top 5 here tonight. But Tryhard's got other plans. He's going to try to send it up the inside, a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact here between the two. As they begin the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Cruise Station now gonna go in and try to put extra pressure. The Red Bull Com United is under 2 separate threats here. As Cruise Station now 3 wide going into turn 2. Char gets another penalty for that one. And that is sketchy, but beautiful stuff to watch here at Rush Racing League. And just to remind everybody, this is not for any points. There's no points on offer for this one. And then we have Aston Martin off. And that was Jazzy off there. Cruise Station gets another 3-second penalty, so we're checking on the pens here. 9-second penalties for Cruise Station, and then 6 seconds for Tryhard, and 3 seconds for Wintercat, Quicksilver, 7 a.m. and Soup. And that is our penalty tracker for this race, as now Symphonic goes to start his final lap with a 22-second buffer, a buffer that is decreasing lap by lap, but it's too little too late there from Aiden Israel, who's already cleared about 3 seconds ahead of Wintercat, who is still fighting it out with Kupsi. Now the battles have spread out again a bit here as we're on the final lap of the Grand Prix, but a driver that has had a fantastic day here today is Symphonic. He wasn't here for Bahrain, the Bahrain sprint. He wasn't here for the Monza race, but he showed up to the Bahrain feature, locked in, qualified P2, got in the lead, pretty much never looked back, and he has just been a dominant force here tonight. And now he's got pretty much the rest of Sector 2 left, and then only a handful of corners left to go here. Symphonic now ticking down the amount of corners he has left to go here before he gets a win here in the reserve program for Ferrari. And he's going to go ahead. He's got only 2 more corners left to navigate here on the Sakir International Circuit here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. We are in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and Symphonic is now its king. Symphonic wins the Bahrain Grand Prix by doing the Jarno Opmeer strat of pulling into the pits and finishing in the pit lane. That is race over, and we'll see Aiden is Raiden gonna go ahead and come home to get that P2 finish. And then it is going to be Koopsie rounding out the podium after Wintercat's penalty is applied. And that is all race done here in Bahrain. And now we do have a little bit of battling here left to go. Soup now going to try to go ahead and fight it out with Keeper. Although there is penalties there, but it's still going to be the last battle here of the night, as these drivers are about to go ahead and be the last cars to come across the line. And here we go, across the line it goes. Soup, he'll lose the battle on track, but he will win it at the end because of Keeper's penalties. And that is the end of the Bahrain Grand Prix here in the reserve program. A Ferrari victory here tonight. Very well done there for Symphonic. He pretty much didn't even really have to look back hardly at all during this one. And then the celebrations are going to go ahead and play out. And then that is going to be the end of this very action-packed doubleheader here tonight. So we're going to go through our superlatives for this race. Race winner is Symphonic. Fastest lap, Aiden is Raiden. Driver of the day and most overtakes all goes to Aiden is Raiden, with Symphonic being the cleanest driver on the night. So we're going to go through our results here. Just for the feature race itself, Symphonic wins, followed by Aiden is Raiden, who went on a massive stint on those soft tires at the end. And then it is Koopsie, Wintercat, Com United, The Governor, Tryhard, Quicksilver Deck, Jazzy, Crew Station, Paul and Hell, 7 a.m., Keeper, Soup, Zombie, J1, Shining Swarm, Naya, and Suts rounding out our field here in the feature. So that's going to go ahead and wrap things up here for our reserve program doubleheader tonight. Hopefully you guys had a good time. I want to give a special thank you to our sponsors, Sim Racing Center, SimLab, Pagni Advanced Simulation, and AI369. We will see you guys next time when we kick off week 2, round 2, at this very track here in Bahrain. My name is Patrick Ullman, and H-Town was here earlier. And on behalf of both of us, thank you guys so much for tuning on in, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.